What's happening with the Australian immigration program? We're already in the middle of August and the Australian government still hasn't published the migration planning levels for the 2025 to 2026 financial year. As a result, the states have not yet opened applications for the 190 and 491 visas, and the last 189 invitation round was in November 2024. In this video, we share some of the biggest migration updates of the month, including changes to English test requirements, the increase in student enrolments for 2026, which states currently are easier for the National Innovation Visa, and updates on processing times, and some details about partner visas and much more. I'm Chris Johnston, an immigration lawyer from Work Visa Lawyers, and for almost 20 years I've been helping individuals and businesses through Australian migration processes. Welcome to our August immigration news video. We've already published more than 300 videos on our channel, so you can stay up to date with information about the Australian immigration program and understand many of the requirements. If you haven't subscribed yet, then please do so now, and that'll help us to create more videos for you. More student visas for 2026. The Albanese government has announced a national planning level of 295,000 international student places for 2026. That's up by 25,000 from the levels in 2025. All active international education providers will receive at least the same allocations that they had last year. Immigration Minister Tony Burke said, "The Albanese government is supporting a stronger international education sector while maintaining integrity in the migration system." If you're considering studying in Australia, then plan your application well, including the level of course and the possible migration pathways when the course is completed. Now the big question is, where are the migration applications for this financial year? We're already in mid-August and the government still hasn't announced how many visas will be available this year. This silence from the government has been causing stress and uncertainty for many migrants, especially for those with visas about to expire. Last year, the government released the allocations in May. The only other time that we've had such a delay was during the COVID pandemic. However, this year, we're not facing any global crisis. The issue now has hit the mainstream media. In an article in the Australian newspaper, Migration Institute of Australia CEO Peter Van Vliet is quoted as saying, "It is well past time. We've not had a general skilled migration invitation round since November 2024. I have to agree, and I hate to think how many skills assessments for eligible electricians, bricklayers and plumbers have expired and they've missed out, with the Australian migration program closed, and this is with Australia in the middle of a housing crisis. So there is little to be gained by trying to guess why it's still closed. Now's the time to check all the requirements are ready if you're planning to do a 189, a 190 or 491 expression of interest. A positive skills assessment in the last 3 years, an English test in the last 3 years, work experience must be at the skill level and supported by evidence such as contracts and pay slips. These are the sorts of things you'll need for your expression of interest to give you the best chance of success. We'll keep you updated as soon as we know anything more about the skilled visa allocations. The allocations drought, that's the big story for 2025. Where are the allocations? English test updates. The Australian government has made changes to the English requirements and added 3 new tests that are now accepted for visa applications. There are now 9 different English tests accepted by the Australian government. The new tests include the Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program, or the CELPIP, the Language Cert Academic, the Michigan English Test, the MET. There is also a new minimum score requirement for superior English in the PTE. Listening is 69, reading is 70, writing is 85, and speaking is 88. This is a very high score in speaking and may make it very difficult to get those extra 10 points for superior English. IELTS has kept the minimum of 8 each for superior in English. There is also a new minimum score requirement for the PTE in competent English. Listening is 47, reading is 48, writing is 51, and speaking is 54. IELTS still requires a minimum of 6 in each band for competent English. Graduate visa requirements have also changed. The PTE scores are now lower. Overall 55, with a minimum of listening 40, reading 42, writing 41, and speaking 39. For IELTS, the minimum remains 6.5 overall, with at least 5.5 in each band. All of these changes have taken effect since the 7th of August 2025. If you took the test before this date, it's still valid and your scores still count. For the graduate visa, test results are valid if taken in the 12 months before the application date. For other visas, the test results are valid for up to 3 years. Changes are also coming in from the 13th of September 2025 for English requirements for the Skills in Demand 482 visa. Applications lodged on or after the 13th of September 2025 will accept vocational English levels, at least IELTS 5 in each band or PTE 33 in listening, 36 in reading, 29 in writing and 24 in speaking. Good luck to everyone planning their English test soon. For some visas such as the 482, the requirements may have been lowered. But for those looking for points for the 189, 190 or 491, the PTE requirements of 88 have made it much more difficult for superior English. There are 9 different test options, so choose the one you feel most confident in and just make sure it's accepted for your visa. Before we continue with the updates, here are some visas that we've had approved recently. Prospective marriage visa granted, a 482 visa granted, a 485 granted, a 400 specialist activities visa granted, and much more. If you need any assistance to apply for an Australian visa, please book an appointment using the link in the description. Which state is the best to receive a nomination for the National Innovation Visa? At the moment, South Australia, Victoria and New South Wales are open for submitting an expression of interest for the National Innovation Visa, a visa for highly talented individuals that lead straight to permanent residency. The answer to which state is easier depends on if you've got genuine ties, ongoing collaboration or credible plan to relocate and contribute to one of the states. If this is the case, the state that you've got ties with would be the best state for you. However, after checking the requirements for the 3 states currently open, South Australia and New South Wales appear to be the easiest and have clearer rules. Both New South Wales and South Australian criteria want you to demonstrate that you will bring value to the state through the applicant's activities. While in Victoria the process is more complicated and difficult to achieve, Victoria requires that you be referred by a Victorian government department or agency with experience in your field. There is no transparent process on how to achieve this referral from a Victorian government agency. We believe it will be more difficult to get a nomination from Victoria. We have several videos explaining the National Innovation Visa, as well as a free assessment on our website where you can check your eligibility. I'll leave the link for the assessment in the description. Now there's some updates on processing times. Processing times are one of the most commented on areas in our videos. We understand how frustrating it can be as the processing times are getting longer. The Department of Home Affairs has updated the visa processing times. I'll now go through some of the main visas, starting with the processing time where 50% of visas are being approved. In the next column, I'll go through the 90% of visas being approved by that date. The 90% processing figure can be a bit misleading because that could be applications that are more complicated and have been held up with issues such as health or character concerns. So here are the processing times for 50% of applications. For the 189 visa, 50% are processed within 6 months. For the 190 visa, 50% are processed within 14 months. For the 491 visa, 50% are processed within 4 months. But for them, the outlier 90% is 23 months. For the 482 Skills in Demand core skills stream, 50% is done within 79 days. For the old 482 temporary skills shortage visa, 50% is done within 8 months. For the partner visa onshore 820, 50% is done within 15 months. For the 186 direct entry, 50% is done within 12 months. For the 186 temporary transition, 50% is done within 14 months. For the 407 training visa, 50% is done within 8 months and 90% is done within 11 months. There are possible delays for those lodging partner visas. To lodge a partner visa, often people have to prove their de facto relationship by registering a relationship. In South Australia, it used to take just over 28 days to register a relationship, but now it's taking 2 to 3 months due to a backlog. So why would this be? One possible explanation is the rise in partner applications given the current closure of the 189, 190 and 491 visa programs. If you want to learn more about the Australian migration processes, check out our other videos. We upload a new video every week to keep you informed. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That's it for this month. See you next video.